Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm your host, Brian, joined with the other host,
Karen.
And Karen, what is this episode all about?
This is not about metal at all.
It's not, but live music. So
It is live music. So this is about the Big Bad Voodoo Daddy Wild and Swinin Holiday Party that we went to.
Yes, we saw this December 16th in Naperville, Illinois. I'm going to get this venue all fucked up. Pfeiffer,
Pfeiffer?
Pfeiffer, is that what it is, actually?
Pfeiffer, yeah.
Pfeiffer, all right. Oh, there's no Y. Yeah, all right. Pfeiffer Hall is the venue. This is the venue. It's a theater at North Central College in Naperville, Illinois.
Yes, yeah.
College little theater, so just a little old building that they use for theater space.
Yeah, like a normal theater.
Yep.
Basically. Yeah.
Ticket prices for this were $55 and $4.50 in fees. This was a physical ticket we got, and actually shipped us an actual ticket, which was really cool. So I don't know if that's probably where that $4.50 fee came in. Because on the ticket, it's just $55. I didn't see anything listed on there for fee, so whatever. But physical tickets, really cool. But it is a small little venue, so.
Yeah, and you bought them through the college, I think.
I did,
So it wasn't like a Live Nation or like a event. Right,
no, the distribution we have listed there, the people we bought it from was the North Central College box office is who we bought it from, just doing their own things, really cool. 8 p.m. show, like you said, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, part of their Wild and Swingin' Holiday Party, but no opener, just Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
Just them.
Venue-wise, we got an email, or you saw something the day before about the venue opening at 7.
Yes.
And then doors to your seats didn't open till 7:30.
Yes.
So you can go in and probably get merch. I don't know if they had any concessions. We showed up really fucking late to this.
Yeah. I don't remember seeing concessions either, and I didn't really see people with glasses or anything, at least not around us.
I saw bottled water for sure. Out by where the merch was, there was this little sort of cubby, and I did see like the little white things that are pressed into a little tack board type thing.
Okay.
I did see names and what looked like prices. So I'm assuming those were drinks and shit you could buy.
Or I don't know. I didn't.
Or I thought it was coat check.
Yeah. I honestly did not look.
I didn't really look either. I just remember seeing it out of the corner of my eye as we were walking in. So, I mean, it's possible that they had a lot of prices. So I'm assuming it was snacks and shit that you could buy.
Possibly, yeah.
But as I said, we showed up really fucking late. We showed up into the first song of the set, actually.
Yeah. Not intentionally.
Not intentionally. Earlier this day, we drove up to Milwaukee to do the Raves sort of haunted holiday tour thing they do.
Right, yeah, haunted holidays.
Really fun. We'll probably do a 666 on that and whatnot.
I'll have a video for it.
Yeah. But then we made our way down from Milwaukee after driving up there to Naperville to see this performance.
Yes.
Hung out around their little downtown center area, got some dinner down there. Decent little downtown, little cute and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Just shops and whatnot.
That's fine.
We were on our way walking up to the venue. We were going to get there a little after 7, which was fine. Oh, wait, no, it was a little after probably 7:30 when we got there.
Probably a little after 7:30, not too much after.
But then we realized the physical tickets we left at the hotel room. It's like, fuck.
We did not leave at the hotel room. You left at the hotel
I put them in my book, and you brought the book out of the car. So I wasn't going to read that night, but you went ahead and brought it. Whatever. Point is, we left our tickets, had to run back to the room, grab them, then run back, or drive back real quick. Not real quick, just, drive back at a normal pace.
It's the suburbs, so everywhere you go takes 15 minutes to drive everywhere.
Exactly.
So.
We showed up, scanned our tickets, no security whatsoever, just sort of. Yeah. Oh, here you go.
I was ready for security too. I had all the shit out of my pockets, ready to walk in, a normal venue.
And just this little old woman, all right, let me see your tickets and scan it. And she's like, she looks at the ticket, finds out where my seat is, oh, you're on the right side. You're just going to be right back here. You're in row O. It starts at Q, so you're 3 rows down or whatever it is.
It'll be the 2 seats on the end. She was so cute about it.
Which was nice because it was dark and the venue the performance had started, so I hate being that way. Unless it's the GA, then fine, fuck it, whatever. I'll just slowly make my way as far forward as I can type thing.
Yeah, but when it started and you have a seat and you're interrupting people and I was a little uncomfortable with that too, but
other people were coming in throughout the night, which
and
was
getting up and leaving and stuff. So I mean, I don't know, it was fine.
Yeah,
but
we'll get into it. I think it's a little weird, but this whole thing, but yeah,
you mean the whole venue?
The whole venue and just the whole setup of
Yeah.
how this performance was a little weird to me.
Okay, we can talk about that.
But yeah, we'll get into that when we get into it, I guess.
Okay.
Anything else about the venue other than sort of that outside hall area? Like we said, there was merch and possibly a concession stand.
So my viewpoint of the venue is walk in the door, you scanned your ticket, and then walked to a different door and sat down. I did not look around. I did not see anything. So unfortunately, I have no comments on the venue.
Okay. I mean, it was just a big room, which was sort of bare, not a whole lot going on. There was a staircase on the left side as you were walking in that was going up to the balcony, I assume, because there were balcony seating for this too. But yeah, other than that, just a little hall area with the theater doors that you walk right through, but a very narrow little spot. So having it open at 7 and then not being able to get to your seat with all those people seems really weird to fit everybody in there potentially.
That could be really weird. Yeah, because it's not like a Chicago theater or something that has like a huge lobby. Yeah. It was just like a little hallway. So
unless, unless you're able to get in, buy your merch and run it back out to your car real quick. Like, I don't know if that was possible. I could see it, like, it was very sort of informal, very low key sort of process getting in and out and whatnot.
You possibly could do that. I just didn't see this crowd as merch buying crowd.
Yeah, definitely not. Maybe CDs and whatnot. When we were walking out, there was one woman who was like, I think I'm going to buy a shirt.
I did hear that, yeah.
Because she enjoyed the performance that much. Yeah. So that was really cool. But
I think most of the crowd was not purchasing crowd.
But also getting to the, like, possibly running out and dropping it in your car, that's the other thing, right? This didn't really have a parking around it. It was a lot of street parking around the venue. It's definitely in a neighborhood, like it's a college campus, right? In the heart of like a little neighborhood area. Yeah. So no big parking lot, no big parking structure to park your car in, bunch of street parking, and you would see people from blocks away, like walking up to the venue. And we assumed they were going to this particular performance.
Yeah, we just assumed.
We ended up parking in a parking garage, like a 10-minute walk away or something like that. That's the one thing about the venue too, like this, just that there isn't really much parking on site, just more around the blocks and whatnot.
Yeah, I wonder if we just don't know where a parking was, but on the map there was no parking listed.
Yeah, I just saw one attached to the building from like Google Earth and whatnot, and it was very small. Yeah. And then there was another one attached to a different hall, but I don't know again, like if that's, you have to be like, if that's a dorm room. I don't know what the campus is like and if you can just park there without permits or
I guess what I'm saying is from like the map, it didn't show public parking because generally there's a P when it's public parking. So that's what I was saying.
Gotcha. So I don't look at maps that much. I was just doing from Google Earth and finding the parking lot. So anyway, once you get into the venue, it's old school sort of seating. They felt kind of old, and I felt like squishy and I don't know. It felt like an old theater.
I think they were. I mean, for an old, I don't know how to say this, but I feel like we've been to some old theaters like the Music Box where the seats are very like you can feel the wood through the seats like when you sit down. And it's very narrow and everything. Like the seats are really small and narrow, like an old theater. Yeah. And this didn't feel like that to me.
Oh,
there was
to me
plenty
it did.
of room and the seats were fine. My seat was fine. Maybe it was just your seat.
Maybe
felt old.
Maybe it reminded me of the Music Box. Like that was a good example. To me, it reminded me of that sort of style of seating. I did not get that at all. It's not like the new like lounging receipt, like recliner type ones. They're the smaller, like go up to the lower your back or whatnot. Oh, I don't know. I'm just thinking like old school theater seats, basically.
Okay. I mean, I thought it was better than like where we go see the Nutcracker. So downtown Chicago. So
maybe a little better. But anyway, it's sort of that style of seating, slow incline. Get your stage up front. Next to the stage, though, like typically at some of these older theaters, especially in like Chicago, you think of the Metro, the Riviera, Aragon Ballroom, Vic, right? They all have sort of this ornate sort of facade around the stage. This really didn't have a whole lot of that. Different sort of like sections painted, like they had, I don't know, maybe trim and whatnot. I can't remember, but it wasn't as ornate as some of the older theaters that you would get in like downtown Chicago.
Oh yeah, I didn't consider it like a theater like downtown Chicago. I was just considering it like a performance theater for a call. I mean, that's what it was. Yeah. But I guess I didn't even think of it as like an ornate thing or that it would have ornate.
From the outside and from that first hallway, it felt old to me. Like maybe a 50s, 60s building or even a little earlier than that. To me, that's what it felt like.
Older than that even, but
Right.
I guess I wasn't thinking of it as ornate like a downtown theater would
I'm just
be.
used to those older theaters having that
Okay.
facade around it, and I just didn't see it there in this one.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, grabbed our seats, and then we listened to some Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. What did we have for a set list?
Yeah, so their set list started with Rockabilly Christmas, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, You and Me, and The Bottle Makes Three Tonight, Baby, I Want to Be Like You, Merry Christmas Baby, Snow Miser and Heat Miser, Minnie the Moocher, Zig Zaggedy Whoop Whoop, Frosty the Snowman, Christmas Time in Tinseltown, Mr. Pinstripe's Suit, King of Swing, We Three Kings, Christmas is Starting Now, Zat You, Santa Claus, and they ended with Run, Rudolph, Run. And then for their encore, they came out to Winter Wonderland, Why Me, and Go Daddy-O.
And so this is actually the set list from a couple nights before at Ohio.
Okay.
Set list doesn't have Chicago's up yet.
Well, they weren't in Chicago, so they won't have one.
Well,
for
Naperville, you know what I mean.
No, it's not Chicago.
Yes, they don't have Naperville's show up yet. But I do remember, I think, almost all these songs. And the set list is basically the same if you go back and look at their other shows. I think there's like one song that some shows got that we didn't get.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, whatever. But yeah, as we said, we came in the middle of the first song, and then we get, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and then Rudolph. And I knew you were going to get a lot of Christmas songs. I had just recently found out that they had a Christmas album on Spotify because of a week before I decided, I'm gonna listen to Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. I haven't listened to them for a while. I want to just listen to it again, get back into it a little bit, and then it sort of changed into their Christmas set because it is Christmas time, right? And so I knew we were going to get a lot of Christmas stuff. Also, like their poster they had was Christmas. The whole tour is called Swinin Holiday Party, right? So you're going to get some Christmas stuff.
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't know it was Swingin' Holiday Party. I didn't know the poster was Christmas, and I didn't know that they had a Christmas album.
Oh, well, if you looked into it at all, then you would have known.
I wasn't expecting any Christmas songs.
You weren't at all?
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then when we got there and the first three songs were Christmas, I'm like, are we going to hear anything that's not Christmas?
So I knew. I guess.
You just said Big Bad Voodoo Daddy's coming. Do you want to go? And I was like, sure, let's go.
Yeah. I guess what I was saying is I kind of anticipated them playing other stuff as well as Christmas stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, after that third song, they come out and they're like, so we get asked all the time, are you only going to play Christmas music? And they're like, nope. Here is You and Me and The Bottle Makes Three Tonight. I did think it was a good mix of Christmas and non-Christmas music and a good way to like sprinkle them in between. So it wasn't just all Christmas up front or on the back side. It wasn't just all in the middle. It was sort of sprinkled all throughout, which I did enjoy that quite a bit. I know you said you were a little weary after the first three songs being like, is this all you're going to play is Christmas? But did you enjoy the Christmas music, I guess?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And I mean, it's fitting for the time period that it's Christmas time or holiday time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, coming in, I was just surprised that they were playing Christmas music because I didn't know that they had a Christmas album even. And I was at first I was a little disappointed because I was like, oh, are we not going to hear any songs that we used to listen to back when like we lived with your dad and stuff? So. Yeah,
and I guess that's where I first found out about them was from my dad. I was probably back when we were living in Des Moines still. He came home with like a Big Bad Voodoo Daddy album back in like 98 or some shit like that. And it's probably up here in one of our CDs. I think I stole it from him because I liked it that much. But that was sort of my first step into like non-classical type music and like non-classic rock that my dad would listen to. And my mom would listen to. It was sort of like, oh, this is my first step. But again, that was like my dad bringing it home and then finding out about the music through my father. But yeah, this came out and I loved it. And I started like getting really big into big band and swing and a little bit of jazz from there. Because I mean, I view big band and swing as sort of like the next step in jazz, basically the step between jazz and rock. Because it has very rocky elements, I feel like, as well as jazzy and bluesy elements as well. I really enjoyed big band music for a long time until finding out about like Metallica and metal and starting going down that path, and that became my predominant sort of genre.
If you stopped at like jazz music or like swing jazz music, and like that's what you still listen to today primarily?
I think it wouldn't be, because I don't think there's a lot of bands producing a lot of swing music out there. I think it's sort of, I don't want to say a dying or dead format, because obviously Big Bad Voodoo Daddy's still producing shit, but it's definitely not as popular, and I don't think there's as many artists out there. Because there's like the Squirrel Nut Zippers who do it. I don't know if they're active anymore or not, but when I was going down that rabbit hole, they were one of the bands. But I think I probably would have ended up more in the ska range.
What's a ska?
Ska with like the trumpets, like a Real Big Fish.
Okay.
Is ska. So like you definitely have a lot of the trumpets going on there. So it's like,
this is a trombone.
Is that a trombone?
That's a trombone.
Whatever.
Trumpet is this.
Well, the one hand. Yeah, I got you. They had 2 trumpets, 1 trombone, 2 sax, and like a clarinet every now and then.
Are you talking about Big Bad Voodoo?
Yes,
Daddy?
Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, the instruments they had.
Yeah, so they had 2 trumpets, trombone, a baritone sax, an alto sax, a tenor sax, a clarinet, and an oboe.
And an oboe, okay. Yeah, I don't know all the instruments that well. I could pick up the 2 saxes, and I knew they were 2 different versions of that.
Yeah.
Also, they have a drummer,
Yes.
a stand-up bass,
Yes.
and a pianist,
Yes.
and then your lead singer who does tambourine, like basically does the tambourines,
kind of a tambourine.
guitar, and banjo.
Yes.
From time to time.
Yes. That was a very weird transition into the band members.
It was. From our standpoint, but yeah, those were the band members.
The one thing about the drummer that was really interesting was there was a like glass wall around the drum set.
Yeah, there was
a drum kit, and so we were at a family wedding earlier this year, and there was a drum kit on the stage from like the church performance, and your cousin asked like, why is there a wall around the drum kit? And I was like, I don't know. I've never seen that. You probably don't know about that, but
I don't remember that.
Because you were like in the wedding. You were,
yeah,
like,
I was trying to think
people.
of the family wedding. I was like, I was? I don't remember going to a family wedding.
Technically last year.
Yeah, it was
the last day of last year.
So that's why it was so long ago.
It was
basically a year ago.
But when you were doing like the
shit I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, your job. Your cousin asked about that, and I was like, I don't know, I've never seen that before. And now this band had a wall, or it's not really a wall, it's like
a clear plexiglass type thing that goes up. I think it's got to do something with sound. That's the only thing I can think of. That's what I was
thinking, is to kind of like muffle the sound, maybe. Or
right.
Like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I've just never seen that before. Maybe it's way more common. I mean, obviously in metal music, it's not common.
Yeah.
So we haven't really seen that live. But like, does Grateful Dead do that?
I don't know. They don't. No, I'm pretty sure they don't. They have a pretty massive fucking drum kit going on.
Yeah, this was a really little drum kit. I noticed. But I mean, comparing it to metal, it was very small.
See, and I think I looked at photos or videos or something of Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, and I think I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of weird." Oh, so I kind of knew about it going in.
Oh, so before going, okay. Yeah. See, I didn't really list or like look at anything. Interesting. I don't know. Like now, I just kind of want to know what that's all about.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. But then you like right next to it, you have your stand-up bass just up there plucking away and singing and whatnot, and your fucking massive ass grand piano.
Yeah.
Down there, I that's the one thing I know is like, fuck, that thing is huge. Is that theirs? Do they truck that along with them?
Probably.
Or do they have just like, oh, you give us whatever piano you have?
No, I bet they have.
I would assume so. Yeah. But that fucking thing was huge.
Yeah.
Like you're not putting shit on top of it. It's going in the truck by itself.
Yeah, it was interesting that the pianist just was a pianist. Like generally when I'm saying generally. When I've seen pianists, it's like they're singing and they're pianists. And this was just a pianist.
Yeah.
I mean,
like the Dresden Dolls is a good example of that, where they're like playing the piano, singing. Metal, they'll have keyboardists, but they're up doing other things other than just the keyboard.
Yeah, but even like the melodic songs for metal music, a lot of times the pianist is singing as well.
I mean, it depends on the band for sure, but yeah. But this was just a person playing the piano.
Yeah.
Nothing else, just I'm the bass player essentially. Like I'm playing the bass or the drums or the guitar, and like this is my job. I'm the rhythm guitar. I'm the piano. I guess that's true. We've never seen somebody who's just solely on the piano and
nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Sorry, We're obviously comparing this all to metal shows that we've seen.
Yeah.
Maybe this is very, very common for jazz music.
But I mean, comparing it to metal going into this, I was hoping for, and thinking of swing itself, like I'm used to seeing swing, or thinking of swing music where there's people dancing and doing swing dancing, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I think I asked you before going, like, would you get up and dance?
I might, if we were in a better venue for it. But that's what I was trying to get to is like, I didn't like the venue for this. It felt very weird just sitting there and basically watching a play or a school music recital going on type thing.
Yeah. It did not sound like a school music performance, but I get what you're saying, where it's just like,
here comes the parents to watch their kids practice their choir that they've been practicing all year. And
venue could have been the parents of these.
I mean, the age of the venue was well older than us. 60s, 70s, I would say. Grandparent age.
I would go older than that even. So
yeah, it was
like our grandparent age.
Yes.
So I would say over 60s and 70s.
70s to 80s then maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
For most of the people in the venue.
Definitely the oldest crowd we've been a part of for a live performance.
Yeah.
So there wasn't going to be much swing music going on because you're going to break some hips and shit.
Swing dancing.
Well, sure.
There was swing
music. Yeah, swing dancing, my bad. Anywho, I was hoping I wish this would have been in something like the Rave or the Aragon, where there was this sort of big open floor where people who wanted to dance and move around could. You see some people like dance in their seats and bob their head back and forth. There was a guy in front of us that was.
I didn't see that. I was probably angled differently, but I was like looking and I'm like, nobody's even moving.
There were people around us that were cheering a lot, which was really cool. But otherwise, it was pretty silent. You'd get clapping every now and then, but it was very silent and just sort of like, we're here to watch you perform.
The crowd was not good at keeping a beat.
I noticed that too when they would do like the everybody clap at the same time.
It was like an echo.
And I'm not very good at that either, so I followed like the person 3 or 4 in front of me. I watched them as their hands go, and like I'm keeping beat with that person. And my thought is like, if I can keep beat with that person, they can probably do it better than I can. Or they're following somebody else. So at least then we have 3 people on the same beat.
On the same beat.
Yeah.
But I noticed a lot. It was like an echo where like one side of the venue or the hall was off of the other side.
Well, yeah, I would clap, like follow the lady in front of me. I'd clap and like, okay, I got this down. I'm following her.
Wait, the lady like right in front of me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she didn't know how to keep beat at all.
And like we'd get 2 beats down, and then I'd follow that same beat at that same, cadence.
So you both were off.
And then as she's doing it, and she'd like do it like super fast. I'm like, wait, no, now I'm all fucked up. And eventually I just like, fuck it, I'm done. I don't give a shit. This is, I don't know.
That's funny.
Like I said, I really enjoyed the performance. I was a little disappointed by
the lack of dancing.
Just the lack of, it didn't feel like an actual concert. It felt like we're just here to watch a performance, and the crowd was lame. It was old, and I don't know how to say it. Like, it was just sort of, there wasn't anything going on from a crowd participation, sort of.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. It's like one of the reasons I love going to live music is
the crowd,
being involved in the crowd and experiencing it with the crowd. But this just wasn't designed that way. It was sit back and listen to the music perform.
Yeah, it was kind of like a holiday performance. Like if you go out to see like your city choir, I don't know, I'm just trying to make something up, but like your city choir perform for the holidays or something, or church choir maybe.
Well, I mean,
perform for the holidays or something.
I mean, also you said you got really into this because of your band background in high school, and you guys do this kind of stuff in band too. You have band performances, right? So it's sort of like that too, like just showing up and watching a band performance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't in band, so I don't know what all of that was about. And I mean, I tried to play the saxophone for like 3 weeks or a month or 3 months or something. Went to my first sort of like band performance, and apparently that was just god awful.
Like an actual performance?
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
a practice?
No, it was like an important performance in front of people. Like you were supposed to practice a song, and you're supposed to go. And I really didn't practice, and apparently like it was god awful. And I was like, it doesn't sound that bad. It could have been a lot worse.
You must have played for way more than 3 weeks then, because generally you don't do that.
I played for about 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
I don't know when the performance was. It was a little bit later, but it was after that my parents were like, yeah, we're returning this instrument. This is expensive. You're done with this endeavor.
Yeah.
But that was the extent of my band experience. I did know a lot of people who were in band and just sort of like, I knew they had band class and they go and do the performances and whatnot. I do know a little bit about like first chair, second chair, and all of that. And one of the trumpets was like, you're definitely first chair because you have all the solos. You're coming up here and doing shit.
I don't think when you really only have two, I get what you're saying, but like when you have like two trumpets, a trombone, a sax, or like the baritone sax, and then the other guy played the 4 instruments. I don't think that that's really like first chair, second chair, that sort of thing.
Okay.
I think it was just he did have a lot of solos, but I don't think that that's really like a first chair thing from band.
Okay.
That's all I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
That's how I took it.
Oh,
But
okay.
again, I don't know anything about band other than like
I think it would be like
the general concept of
so,
first chair, second chair.
from a metal show. I think it would be similar to like lead guitar
And rhythm.
guitar.
Okay.
So that's how I would take it, because also the trumpet in the back would have some vocal parts as well. I don't know if you noticed that or not. So
I did notice that vocals jumped around all over the place
Yeah.
between who was
Yeah.
doing it. The baritone sax had its own vocals.
yeah,
The bass had a lot of vocals. The drummer, I don't think, had any vocal parts other than just yelling.
yeah. I don't think so. I don't
Like the
remember
whole
seeing
like "Go Daddy-O" and
Yeah.
what's the other song?
Winnie the Moocher,
Whoop whoop. The
Zigzaggity.
zigzaggity whoop
Oh.
whoop. Like the whole band would just yell whoop whoop
Yeah,
during that part.
yeah.
Yeah, and then as you said, Minnie the Moocher, that was mainly the bass, and I think they were also. Oh no, that's the baritone sax. I think
Baritone sax,
he had
yeah.
one of the Minnie the Moocher's part. The bass had the really hard one, and then the lead singer had like the first one.
Hody, hody, ho.
It's like
How do you say it?
it's ID 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 I
Yeah.
Odi 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 O, and then what's the really hard one is like I don't know. It's like beep blah, 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 beep, doop, doop. And it's like you have to say it really fast, and you're
yeah.
what's that called? Scat singing. You're like scatting, but really fast. But that was one thing with Minnie the Moocher that I didn't like, is that last little call and repeat aspect where the bassist is supposed to do something like really long and fast and hard. Not hard. No, hard. Hard is like hard to do, not hard as in like hard
say.
music.
Yeah.
And the
Hard to
crowd.
repeat.
Yeah, and the crowd's like supposed to fuck up, and then I don't know if they're supposed to fuck up, but the crowd usually fucks up because they can't do it as well, type thing, and then the whole crowd laughs, blah blah blah, has a good time, they cheer. Blues Brothers, I feel like, does a really good version of that, which was sung by Cab Calloway, I think, who did the original Minnie the Moocher song.
Oh, okay.
But that part, when they performed it at this performance, it was just sort of a really quick and just sort of passed over it. So I feel like the crowd was really involved with Minnie the Moocher at the beginning of the song, and in the middle it sort of faded and they stopped doing the call and repeat, and then at the end they did a little bit more, but they didn't stick with the call and repeat, which was a little disappointing.
Okay.
I don't know, I felt like.
Okay. I didn't notice that, so that's a
Oh, you didn't?
good thing that you picked up. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was really excited for that bit,
Oh, me
and I
too, yeah.
really wanted to hear Minnie
Yeah.
the Moocher.
I think that's why after the first 3 songs were Christmas songs, I was like, oh, we're not going to hear Minnie the Moocher, because that's the one song that I remember them playing, or not them playing, you playing when we lived at your dad's house.
Yeah. I do remember "You, Me, and the Bottle Makes 3 Tonight." I like that. "I Want to Be Like You." That's from the Jungle Book, right?
Yes. Yeah.
With Moby and Blue, like
Yeah.
going down the river and singing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Another just classic jazzy, swingy song that they played for a long time now.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of hard. Like I said, I don't think there's many new swing musicians out there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're like, this is a thriving subgenre, or not subgenre, but a thriving genre of music. But a lot of these songs, or a few of these songs, are like classic swing songs that they just pulled out and played.
Yeah.
But they did play their own stuff too, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I guess I don't know the difference between their own stuff and what other people had written. I'm like "I Want to Be Like You" is obviously written by the Sherman Brothers, but yeah, I didn't realize that they had so many covers.
Did they write a lot of shit for Disney?
Sherman Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that like their main bread and butter was just Disney music?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh shit, I did not know that.
Yeah. There's like a whole documentary on the Sherman Brothers.
Huh.
We could do it for a podcast.
Maybe. But yeah, like leading into Minnie the Moocher, they had just done Snow Miser, Heat Miser, and they ended that with the crowd interaction like, when you play a classic like that, what are you going to do next? And a part of me in my head was like, Minnie the Moocher, but this is way too early in the
Yeah, I
set.
wanted it to be like the last song.
But no, it was right there at
Yeah.
the beginning of their set with Minnie the Moocher.
But I'm pretty sure that before playing Snow Miser, Heat Miser, they played the intro to Minnie the Moocher.
Okay.
And then they did like a little jingle bell like on the piano, and then went into Snow Miser, Heat Miser.
So they're kind of like teasing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah,
but
I was getting excited. I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure this is Minnie the Moocher. And then they went into like the jingle bells just really quick on the piano, like jingle bells, jingle bells.
Yeah.
And then they went straight into Snow Miser, Heat Miser.
The other like Christmas song they did that really stood out to me was their own song, Christmas Time in Tinseltown.
Yeah.
Came up, told a really fun story about being in college, meeting a Santa in LA in like a parking lot, and you can go get your photo with Santa. Then went to Taco Bell afterwards to get lunch because you're a college kid and that's what you do. And didn't have their wallets. I didn't know that either, honestly. And no wallet, so Santa stole his wallet. So he went back to his room and wrote a Taylor Swift style song against like I Hate You, Santa, right? Plays the song, doesn't really come off as like fuck you, Santa. And then he comes out after the song, he's like, you thought that'd be harsher, right? Like, yep. I went to my car the next day and wallet was in the back seat, so I went back and changed all the lyrics to the song. But that was a fun little town. Or song, not town.
The first thing I thought of when he said the name of Christmas Time in Tinseltown, I was like, Tinseltown Stiffs from the podcast we used to listen to.
From Hollywood Babylon, yeah.
Yeah.
Another sort of moment that stood out for me, We Three Kings. He comes out and introduces We Three Kings, and then the brass band comes out and stands in front of the stage, and they just play. It's just an all instrumental.
Yeah.
He goes off stage for a little break, and just an all instrumental. I thought that was probably going to be the intermission at that point.
Oh, okay.
Which there was an intermission, but you even said leaving that you had anticipated playing like an hour and a half intermission, hour and a half.
Yeah. At first, I thought We Three Kings sounded horrible from the band.
I didn't like the sound of it either. No.
I don't know why, but it just seemed like it was off, or like the sound just wasn't right. I don't know. I'm not sure what was wrong, but I was like, this doesn't sound good. And the rest of the music sounded fantastic, so I don't know what was wrong with that song.
I think I know what it is for me.
What?
As I said, we went up to Milwaukee, and then we drove down from Milwaukee back to Naperville to see this performance. And it's Christmas time. It's a week before Christmas when this show was. And I have recently, that exact week actually, discovered there's a fuck ton of metal Christmas music out there.
Yeah.
And we'll do a 666 on that too, but I've gone down that rabbit hole quite a bit. And We Three Kings is a song a lot of people will play. And probably because it's in the public domain, so it's free, blah, 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 we can go ahead and do it. But I really like those versions of We Three Kings. So I think I wanted the metal version of We Three Kings. Okay. So when they came out and played it, it was like, this is fine. It's not that good. It's not even that swingy. It's just sort of, it's meh. It's not a great version. It's a fine version of this song. So I think that's where my, not hatred, but dislike or disappointment in the song came from.
I see.
But yeah, again, I thought that was going to be the intermission, and it wasn't. They came back out. They kept playing. And it kind of became apparent that I don't think we're going to get an intermission. This is just going to be a regular concert length, an hour and a half or so of songs, and then we're done. And so at that point, I kind of knew it was just a normal show. Okay. I don't know what your thoughts were, because I know you had said you also expected an intermission.
Yeah, so I figured that they play for like an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and 20 minutes, do 15-minute intermission, and then play for another hour.
Do you remember when you stopped thinking that? Or was it like you never had that thought until the end where it's like, oh, I guess we are done?
I kept thinking that there would be an intermission up until they left the stage for the encore.
For the encore?
Yeah. So in like, 3 more songs or whatever after that?
Yeah. And the encore was kind of weird.
It was really weird.
In terms of like, they say goodbye and they leave the stage and the lights don't come on, so you know there's going to be an encore type thing.
Yeah.
But this isn't like the kind of music where you're going to be chanting one more song. Even though I heard somebody say, play one more.
We should have. We should have just been like, one more song. We should start these things.
I guess so, yeah. But they did eventually come out and play a few more tracks.
Yeah. But it was really weird because they like, I figured they were coming back out too because the lights didn't come up or whatever. But like, it was like, they did it kind of like a metal show where like the drummer came out first.
Yep.
And then but the band didn't come out for Winter Wonderland. So it's just the drummer, bass, piano, and vocalist.
And I think he had a guitar possibly.
He had a guitar, yeah.
But yeah, I also noticed that where
so that was like their break. Because the week 3 Kings, it was everybody else's break.
Well, the piano played a little bit, didn't they?
For week 3 Kings?
I think so. I don't know if the drummer was playing. Maybe the bass was also playing. I honestly can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember now either. But yeah, so like they didn't come out at all. So then I was like, okay, so this is kind of weird. Maybe they're just ending with them. But then they came out for Why Me and GoDaddy-O.
Yeah, I remember that too, thinking the same thing of like, oh, I guess their part isn't here yet. Maybe it'll be here in a little bit. But what song was it? That was Winter Wonderland, right? Yeah, you said that.
I don't think I said that, but maybe I did.
Maybe you did. I don't know. Mr. Pinstripe, I was super excited to see that. King of Swing, I was super excited to see that and hear that finally. There were some songs that they, from that album that my dad had that they didn't play, and I don't think they would play. There's one like, Who's That Creeping Through My Window or something, kind of very creepy, sort of weird fucking song, but it's super slow.
Okay.
It's sort of like a ballady type thing. I really like that song. I remember liking it when I was younger. So they didn't play that, but I kind of knew they wouldn't. Again, I really liked the structure, the sprinkling of the Christmas music in. Like, it's that time of year. The decorations, the lighting on stage was all Christmas themed. The lead singer, I can't remember, I don't know his name, but he came out in sort of a plaid red and green jacket with a bow tie on. Everybody else had just regular suits on. Yeah.
I mean, that is different than the shows that we normally see too. Everybody in suits and nice shoes and very dapper looking versus jeans and a t-shirt.
Very, very dapper.
Yeah.
But I liked the structure, but I kind of wanted less Christmas music and more of their own swing.
I was just going to say, like, if we saw a show that wasn't during the holiday time of Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, I'm sure it's all of their music, obviously. Or like their covers and their music as well. So I think that would be kind of fun to kind of seek out if they're doing a tour.
I think so too.
Point of year.
I think so too. I don't know if they do this every year or not, but it's possible. Like it's a tradition type thing where they go on tour every year and do a little Christmas thing. I honestly don't know if they do it every year or not.
I didn't even know that they were still like a band together. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't follow them, so.
Yeah, true. I don't really either.
I guess in my mind it was old people music when your dad listened to it. So not that your dad was old, but like it was older than his genre of music or his generation of music. So.
Not classic rock or anything. Was older than that. Older than like the 50s jukebox beat boppy thing.
It really sounds like something like that. I mean, take the lyrics out of it because the lyrics are kind of more not mainstream, modern-ish.
Their songs. Yeah.
So take that out of it, but otherwise the music portion of it sounds like something like my grandparents would listen to.
Well, yeah, I mean, this was very popular in like the 20s. Swing music was, right? It's like this is the evolution of jazz, I think. The way I interpret it is it's the evolution of jazz. And then it sort of died out, I think, right after the war, soon after the war, World War II, that is. The war. When you say the war, you should know what that is.
I knew exactly what you meant, but it was just so funny how you said the war, like that one war that we had that we were all in.
Yeah. Anywho, I think it died out soon after that. The stage performance itself, I want to see if you have any thoughts on this, but I thought it was sort of boring. The stage performance. There were some members of the band who were sort of dancing and moving around a bit, but that first chair that I think of, or as you say, the lead trumpet.
Yes. Yeah.
When it was ever his solo or something, he would just slowly walk up, not like dancing or anything, just sort of like, all right, it's my time to go. I need to go do something.
Yeah,
Let's
I get
go.
what you're saying. Yeah.
And everybody else would sort of like dance around and have a little fun with it, and he's sort of like, no. My job is to play this instrument, and I'm going to go over here and do that.
I think it's the same, though, from like a metal performance where sometimes you get a guitarist who just stands and plays their music, and they're not moving around. So, I mean, I wouldn't Did you say the whole performance was boring or just his performance was boring?
His performance definitely was boring, but the other members who were dancing around a little bit weren't doing it a lot. I did feel like there was just sort of a little bit, we have to walk around, we have to go do our thing. The bass player got into it. He was really cool. I liked watching him, and he like spin the bass around and shit.
Yeah.
Your lead singer was, he's the lead, so he's got a little bit more stage presence. But even that was sort of, the crowd interaction was more of like, I'm going to come tell you a quick story real quick. This is AM radio. Like his voice and his way of saying it was very
I think that's
AM
just
radio-y.
The genre of music.
Maybe. He brought go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, they did like the little, where they like kind of all walked in a line around.
Yeah.
And that was kind of fun. I don't know. With these instruments, it's not really I'm going to jump around and have fun kind of music, though.
The music might not be, but you can definitely do it. I mean, look at Kin Mode. They had a saxophone. Symphonic Carnage. Sorry. They have a saxophone. They were bouncing around having a good time. So yeah, you can definitely do it with these instruments.
You definitely could. Yes. I don't think it's that type of music to do that.
I don't know. I think it's definitely the music. This music for me is definitely, you should be up there dancing around as you play your instrument.
Dancing, yes, not jumping around.
I guess that's what I mean by jumping. It's like dancing around and moving, more movement.
Okay.
But yeah, to me, the performance was just sort of meh. I don't know if you had a different opinion on that or not, or if you...
I thought it was fine. I mean, it's what I expected, I guess.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't expect them to be moving around too much,
I'm pretty sure they're in The Mask. They're the big band in The Mask, where...
The Mask?
Have you never seen that, Jim Carrey?
I think I watched it once in
where he puts the mask on, becomes green, and the yellow zoot suit.
I know what you're talking about. I don't think I've seen the whole movie, or if I did, it was like 15, 20 years ago. Probably 20 years ago now. Gosh.
I'll find the scene. We'll watch it together. But in my mind, and it's been a while since I've seen it, but I'm pretty sure I remember the band doing a lot more movement and shit. Also,
that would have been 20, 25 years ago.
It would have been, yes. Everybody's a little older now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anywho.
Any hoodles.
I also did expect more brass instruments. I was surprised that we got by with 5 musicians back there for that big of a sound.
Yeah, is this so I have a comment on that. But is this the normal band?
I think it is.
Original band?
I think so. I don't know.
I'm probably not original
I don't know
members.
the history.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the entire band.
One thing that I noticed, and I didn't know about this from band in school, and obviously I don't follow like jazz bands, but they like for the sounds, like I think what you're kind of talking about is, they can make 5 different trumpet sounds by using, they have like these little, I think they're rubber, but some of them are metal, but like you put them on the end of your trumpet or you like hold them and like to make the sounds. So I think that's what you're alluding to, possibly, that it sounds like there's a lot more instruments than there actually are because of the pieces that they use to make their trumpet sound like a different piece.
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
I know I didn't bring that up, but that's a good thing you brought up. Is it's really cool to see like the trumpet where you put that little plastic thing again on front. There was also one where they put a metal thing, I think it was, and it sort of made like a whistly sound or something, or a different sort of sound that came out. And it's really cool that you can do that with those instruments just by like muffling it a little bit, putting these little things. I did really enjoy seeing that and seeing how that performed. I just expected, thinking of like a classical band or like a jazz band type thing, or even thinking of like going back to the high school again, seeing those band performances, seeing so many people in the band. I expected there to be 5 to 10 more members of a band actually playing.
So you went to like an orchestra with them.
That's what I assumed it would be. I didn't realize it was so few. I always assumed it was like a giant brass section of like 15, 20 people, not 5 people.
I see. Generally for a band in school, it's how many students do you have? Okay, this is how many chairs you're going to have.
I get that you can't.
Because I was like chair 13 clarinet when my flute broke. So, I mean, it was because we had 13 clarinets that I was number 13.
I mean, I understand that you can't kick a student out. We're like, nah, we.
I mean, maybe some schools do. Like,
maybe.
you had to try out or something maybe for it. But, like, in our school, and probably even your high school, was like...
But even, like, the orchestra when we saw S&M 2, right?
Yeah.
That thing was fucking massive. But I guess...
But that's an orchestra. That's different. That's a symphony.
I guess, but how many trumpets do they have there? They probably only have, like, one or two.
But... Yeah, they could have had one or two or three. Like, I mean, there wasn't...
Even violins, they only have a couple. I guess, so it's really not that many.
They did have a French horn, and they probably had a... Do they have a bugle in the symphony?
I don't know, probably, if you need it.
I don't know. Bugle kind of has a different sound. And I think there's 2 types of trumpets. Like, 2 different trumpets.
All right, so maybe it's really not that many musicians per instrument, typically. Yeah. You don't need, I guess, a whole lot of instruments to do. Yeah,
I don't think there are. I think it's just that they have like
so the variety is different.
Many, yeah, so like thinking of kind of like the saxophone where they had a baritone sax and the one guy played the tenor sax and the alto sax, and then also you played the clarinet and the oboe. So if you think about that, like the symphony probably has 2 oboes, 2 or 3 clarinets, probably some saxophones. I don't know, saxophone's probably in the symphony, and then probably some baritone. So I mean, right there you have 7 people for what 2 people did.
Okay.
Here. So
interesting. Okay. I mean, the more I think about it, never mind. The number of band members actually makes sense.
I really thought you were talking about the trumpets and the trombone did it, but like used equipment to make their trumpets or their instruments sound different.
They did.
And I've never heard of it.
Oh, you haven't? Mm-mm. I've known about that in the past
really?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like in band, we never did anything with that. So.
I think when I first went out, the saxophone was my backup instrument. So the trumpet was my main instrument I wanted to do.
Oh, you wanted to do that?
And I couldn't make the sound come out of the thing, but they never really explained to me how to make the sound. Oh. I thought you just had to blow normally. I didn't realize you had to... Yeah. Like, I can do that all day. Like,
I know. You're annoying.
But they didn't... but they didn't tell me that when I went out for it. So it was like, all right, I guess I'm going to do saxophone because Lisa Simpson plays the saxophone, and that's pretty awesome.
That's funny because when I tried out, I wanted to play the clarinet really bad. And when I tried out for the clarinet, I didn't realize that you have to like wet the reed and like you have to hold your mouth and everything to do it. So I played the flute instead.
Okay.
You could blow it across the hole. That's easy.
I don't know. Before we get into final thoughts, that's really all I have to say about the show.
Yeah. No, I mean, so you were saying like that you were disappointed and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. But it was exactly what I expected. Minus, I figured it would be, again, like play for an hour and a half, intermission, play for another hour and 15 minutes. I figured we wouldn't get done until 10:30 or 11 since it started at 8. I figured there was only one band. I didn't think that they would have like an opener or anything, but I did not expect it to be like a normal headliner.
Yeah. I was unsure about an opener. I couldn't find anything listed, so I assumed there wasn't. But we've gone to shows in the past where not all of the openers are listed. Chemist, for instance, when we saw them here, Mother and Graves wasn't on the bill when you bought the tickets. It's just sort of like, oh, they're here now. Also, you get a fourth band, which is fucking awesome when they do that. So I didn't know if it was going to be like, here's the college jazz band or something. That would be
really cool.
Or something along like incorporate something else.
That would have been really cool, actually.
Or just like, we don't know who's going to be there when we booked the tickets or when we sold the tickets, and who knows? Maybe somebody will be there, maybe somebody won't. So I kind of expected there not to be an opener, but I also was hopeful that there would be like a surprise, quote unquote, opener. But when there wasn't, I also was hoping for a intermission with an extra long set.
Yeah.
Getting a normal set for this for $55.
Yeah.
That's fucking pricey in my opinion.
Yeah. So before we even started this, my actual reaction was, holy shit, we paid $55 for these tickets. Not worth it.
No,
I'm sorry. I mean, you going back to Chemist where we got a surprise Mother Graves who puts on a fantastic fucking performance as an additional opener. And I mean, we could look. I'm pretty sure we probably didn't pay over $30 for those tickets. And we got 4 bands. And we paid $55 for a headliner set.
For one set, yes.
Yeah.
Which, again, I really, really enjoyed the music. I enjoyed the structure with all the music being thrown in. It's not something we normally do. It's not a style we normally see. It's a lot of fun, but god damn, it was annoying.
That's expensive.
So I mean,
and we drove to the suburbs.
When we were getting married, we took dance class, and my favorite part of doing the dance class was when we started doing the swing dancing. That was the most fun. And I actually had like a thought back then of like, we should go to the dance halls, because they were telling, like, the instructors were telling us there's swing clubs all over the place. There's still a lot of people doing this. It's a great way to stay in shape when you're getting older.
We're the youngest people in the class.
It's so much fun. And I was like, that sounds like a blast. I love swing music. It's a good little it's an uplifting, happy sort of sounding song structure and whatnot. And as I said, I get jazzy elements from this too, listening to this music. And halfway through the performance, or toward the end, when I started realizing there was going to be no intermission, it's just going to be a normal set, I knew the tickets were $55. I saw the price when we picked up the tickets on the way in. I kind of glanced down at it, and I was thinking, there has to be a fucking jazz club here in Chicago that we could go to and just sort of hang out in a lounge sort of setting, listening to jazz music, possibly even like a swing club where maybe we don't go and dance, we just sort of hang out and listen to the music. There's got to be that out here somewhere in the city, with maybe a cover, $20 cover type of thing. That would have been a more enjoyable evening, I think, than this, for the price at least.
For the price, I wouldn't necessarily say more enjoyable, but more for our money.
Yeah, I mean,
I enjoyed this, so I'm sorry that you didn't enjoy it.
No, I really enjoyed it too. I'm just struggling with the price of being like, I don't think the price is worth it.
I don't think the price is worth it, but I didn't know the price until we literally sat down to like start this. So to me, I enjoyed it just fine.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that going to a swing club or a jazz club would be more enjoyable, because I enjoyed myself a lot. That's just my opinion.
Gotcha.
I don't know how to say that. And I don't see myself going to a jazz club or a swing club often. This isn't something I'm totally into.
The music?
I like this from the memories of when we were like 16, 17.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
When we used to listen to it and that sort of thing. But I don't think I would like seek this out.
I would definitely seek it out.
I know you would. I just... it's fun. It is fun.
Right, as like
as
an alternative every now and then type thing. It's not going to be my primary go-to music by any means whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it's going to be something where 6 months from now it's like, you know what, I kind of have this itch today once to listen to some swing. Okay. I'm going to listen to it today. I do that now, right? Like, I'm done listening to metal today. Let's do some indie stuff, or let's do some just classic rock. And I'll listen to that for like a day or two, and then, all right, now let's get back into the hardcore metal shit that I like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I see it that way. But
I don't see myself going to a swing club, because I have a fear that somebody would see me just sitting there and then be like, come dance. And then I would have to.
Your fear is you'd have to dance?
Yeah, kind of.
Is that why you hate wedding dances so much?
I just don't like weddings. I don't want to dance. I don't want to be in the center of attention. I don't want to be in front of people.
Yeah, I don't know. I've slowly gotten over that, where it's like, I realize nobody's paying any attention to me whatsoever, so fuck it, whatever. And they're not going to remember me because they're probably too fucking drunk anyway, so. Anywho,
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I did really enjoy this. Again, just that, sticker shock price sort of thing of $55 for sitting down and watching a performance is, I don't know.
But I mean, I don't really care about the whole sitting down and watching a thing. Maybe I'm taking your words too out of context, but I think it's just for one band, $55 is too much.
I don't know. So like, again, if this venue was different, if it was the rave in the ballroom or Aragon in that big old floor,
this would be fun in the rave.
This would be a lot more fun and enjoyable, and $55 wouldn't feel as bad. Having to just to sit there and just sort of like listen to the music and not really be involved from a crowd standpoint, that definitely hindered it for me.
Yeah, it would be fun in like the rave ballroom or Aragon ballroom, and like you could move around. Yeah, that would be fun.
Having the pockets open up, and it's not like a pit pocket, but it's like just people swing dancing.
The pit opens up and you're just swing dancing.
Yes, exactly. So, I don't know. Again, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did it. Definitely outside of our wheelhouse in terms of music styles.
Totally different. Yeah.
But that's awesome. There's so much great music out there that's outside of what you normally listen to, and it's worth at least trying.
Yeah, I think last year for Christmas time we went and saw Jack White, and that was kind of like outside of our metal.
Yeah.
I mean, that
was closer
to metal
than
yeah,
this
that's
was.
what I was gonna say. Like that was closer, but this is definitely not in the same wheelhouse.
Yeah. Anyway, go check out live music, even if it's something you're not really into. It's live music. It's going to be a blast. So go out there, check out live music. There's nothing like it.
Yep. Bye.